It is November 12, 2020, and South Africa has been in lockdown for 230 days, which means we've been in a national state of disaster for 240 days. My name is Helene Eloff. I'm a South African lawyer and journalist, and I have been summarizing South Africa's lockdown regulations and amendments for everyone who is interested. As you know, last night President Cyril Ramaphosa addressed the nation, and today the latest lockdown rule amendments were gazetted. Alcohol sales have returned to normal, and that despite the regular rules and regulations, trading hours have normalized and we can sell and buy alcohol as we did before lockdown began. Previously, only certain categories of persons were allowed to travel to South Africa. Internationally, for example, there were huge limitations on who could come in and out of the country. That has now changed. International air travel is restricted to the OR Tambo, King Shaka and Cape Town international airports. All commercial seaports will be opened. Visa applications will resume as soon as the Minister of Home Affairs has issued directives explaining how this will work. Some handy tips for travelers. If you intend to travel internationally, you must go for a COVID-19 test no more than 72 hours prior to your departure. If you get to South Africa and you are unable to provide a certificate proving that you tested negative no more than 72 hours prior to your departure, you will have to self-quarantine at your own cost. One FAQ that I still get a lot is, if I break the lockdown regulations, can I still go to jail? In terms of the most recently gazetted regulation, the answer is yes, and it relates to the following regulations. Numbers 66, 72 sub 1, 73 sub 1 sub A, and 77 sub 1 sub B. Now these numbers probably don't mean a whole lot to you, so I will explain which rules apply to such an extent that if you contravene them, you can be arrested and jailed. Quick note, you cannot be jailed for more than 6 months per contravention, and you can also, in the alternative, get a fine, or you can get a fine along with being jailed. Firstly, we'll deal with Regulation 66, which is all about the movement of persons. As you know, our curfew starts at midnight and it lasts until 4 in the morning. So you can be out and about between 4 in the morning and midnight. You may only be outside during the curfew period if you've been granted permission by the relevant cabinet minister, if an emergency necessitates it, or if you have the appropriate permit. Now, I will include a URL taking you to a website, a platform from Caxton Local Media, where you will see all the permits that you need. You can download them, and there are step-by-step instructions on how to proceed getting these permits issued. Regulation 72 sub 1 deals with nightclubs. Now, despite many queries from the public, government has still not explicitly stated according to what criteria they distinguish between nightclubs on the one hand and bars and taverns on the other. Nonetheless, we do know that we can't be more than 250 persons at a gathering. We're enforcing social distancing, and we have the nightly curfew, which pretty much eliminates a nightclub as we know it. If you go to a nightclub or if you host a nightclub type party, then you can be arrested. Regulation 73 sub 1 prohibits initiation periods, practices during this time, and then Regulation 77 sub 1 sub B says that you are not allowed to sell on-site consumption alcohol after curfew has started. In conclusion, a summary of South Africa's COVID-19 stats. We've had 742,000 people test positive for COVID. More than 20,000 has died. Please stay safe, sanitize, practice social distancing, and stick to the rules. Together we can get through this, and I believe we might be closer to the end than we think.